When you put the vehicle on the on position without starting the engine, and you hear your radiator fan running on full speed or maximum speed, then your radiator fan module is busted. So today, let me show you how to replace it the how to Helen way. Hello and welcome to How to Helen, where you learn something different every day. In this episode, we will be replacing the radiator fan controller or module for this 2008 Infiniti G37. Now, the unit is located underneath the coolant expansion tank. So, the first thing we need to do is remove the coolant expansion tank. The coolant expansion tank is held up by two 10mm bolts, so use a 10mm socket and wrench to remove them. Next, we need to pull out this hose so we can move the expansion tank out of the way. With the hose removed, move the expansion out of the way. So here is your radiator fan controller. So before we continue, here's a quick tutorial on how to remove the connectors. Here is a close-up of the radiator fan controller. And these are the three connectors that we need to remove. Now, to remove the connectors, you simply have to press down on the security tab and pull the connectors. Now, the problem is sometimes the connectors get stuck, especially because this connectors has this ridge or notch that prevents it from getting the connectors removed easily. So most of the time, this gets stuck on the connector. So what you're gonna do is use a flathead, slide it in between the two connectors, and press down. As you can see, this security tab is going down, and press it down with your thumb as well, and you should be able to clear that ridge or notch. So clear this by pressing on the security tab. I hope that information helps. As mentioned on the tutorial, I'm going to press down on the locking tab on the bottom connector, then push it down. If I block the view, my apologies, because there's really no space to record this. That's why I made that tutorial. It's almost out. Or not.
"12 seconds later."
So unfortunately, what ended up happening is that the locking tabs on the old controller broke off, I guess from old age, the one that you see here as reference on the new one. And that's what happens when it gets brittle. So we're gonna continue removing the old controller, and I'll show you what happened. Thank goodness it was on the connector on the controller that broke off and not the connector on the vehicle. So to continue for now, there's two 10mm bolts that's holding the controller in place. So we're gonna take out the two 10mm bolts. Okay, this is the bolt at the bottom. And this is the bolt on the top. Now let's pull out the radiator fan controller. Here's a side-by-side comparison of the old fan controller and the new fan controller. And as I mentioned, the security tabs or locking tabs broke off due to old age, and there's really no way that I could have saved it. But thank goodness it's on the module or the controller and not on the connector on the car. So let's put in the new one. Let's hook up the connectors first. Oh, wait. There you go. Okay. Take 2. Installing the new fan controller. Let's hook up the connectors first. Make sure it snaps in place. Next, let's put in the two 10mm bolts that we removed previously. Tighten it snug, but not over tighten it. Now put back the coolant expansion tank. Don't forget to reconnect the hose. Reinstall the two 10mm bolts that we previously removed. Now turn on the car. Turn on the AC. And make sure that you hear the radiator fan turns on when you hear the air compressor engages. Also monitor that your car doesn't overheat or your vehicle goes above normal operating temperature. And as you can hear, the engine is running right now, but the radiator fan is not running on maximum or full speed anymore. And that is how to replace the radiator fan module or controller on this 2008 Infiniti G37. This has been another episode of How to Helen. My name's Jeff, and thank you for watching. And you hear your radiator fan running on full speed or maximum speed, then your radiator fan module is busted. So today, let me show you how to replace it the How to Helen way. Hello and welcome to How to Helen, where you learn something different every day. In this episode, we will be replacing the radiator fan controller or module on this 2008 Infiniti G37. Now the unit is located underneath the coolant expansion tank, so we need to remove the coolant expansion tank first. Here's a close-up of the radiator fan controller. These are the 3 connectors that we need to remove. Now underneath these connectors, let me show you. There is a tab or a notch that you need to clear when pressing down on the connectors to release them. Like this. So this is the notch or tab. Now the problem is sometimes because they're old and they get stuck, you will need a screwdriver to press down to assist in taking it off. You can either leverage it here or here. And then pull it off. you need to put the screwdriver here to press it down to help take it off. Here's a close-up of the radiator fan controller. These are the 3 connectors that you need to remove. Basically, you just have to press down on these tabs or security tabs to take it off. But because this one has a dimple or notch at the bottom, sometimes it gets stuck when you're trying to take it out. Here's a better view of that notch. You can see it. Now, to assist in removing the connectors, use a flathead screwdriver and slide it in between the connectors and press down. As you can see, it is pressing down on the tab, and that should clear on taking it off and would clear the notch or ridge on the connector. Alright, I hope this close-up helps. Again, we need to clear this notch from this tab to release. And you hear your cooling fan, and you hear your cooling fan. And you hear your cooling fan running on maximum speed or full. And you hear your cooling fan running on maximum speed or full speed, then your radiator fan controller is busted. And you hear your cooling fan or radiator fan. And you hear your radiator fan running on full speed or maximum speed, then your cooling fan module. And you hear the radiator fan running on full